And we are live everywhere. What's going on out there, YouTube family? This is a momentous occasion. We're about to give you guys a spoiler-filled review discussion on Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snydercut. It's here, it exists, and as you can see right here, Restore the Snyderverse is very real. I got here Ty, I have Jarrell's Alexandra. What's going on, gentlemen?
Yo, what's going on?
What's going on? Bring the Snyder back.
So yeah, real briefly before we kind of just dive deep into some of these spoilers, because I mean, I know we've been waiting to talk about it. Jarrell, you've pretty much talked about everything, so it's kind of like I'm not gonna make you regurgitate everything, but We're gonna definitely harping on some things that I thought were really dope. And I just really want you guys to kind of expound on it. This is not going to be a back and forth of nitpicks. This is just us talking about like all the things that we weren't able to talk about before. But real quick, your brief thoughts of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Ty, you go first.
Brief thoughts. Redemption. Like, to me, this is honestly, this is redemption wrapped in creativity, but unfortunately still surrounded by stupidity of greed and money, because the WB would not restore this cut. But the movie itself, 4 hours of epic greatness. I was telling the guys I'm about to go into my 20th hour because I'm about to watch it for a 5th time. I love it. I absolutely love it.
It looks like the Flash is happy. And Jarrell, real quick, what's your brief thoughts on it? What's up, D?
Let's see here. Brief thoughts. Snyder Cut. For me, it's a 10 out of 10, and I'm willing to die on that hill.
Dang. This man said he's willing to die on that hill. So I'm gonna bring Diana up here. She was willing to die for Bruce Wayne. So yeah, let's dive in deep on some of the dopest moments of this. Really quick, for me, one of my first things I think that Jarrell, when we were watching it together, we actually watched it together, was when the movie opened up. And it started from the place that I didn't think they were going to go, but I was really hoping that they would. From the, I think it was a deleted scene with Lex Luthor, where he's kind of there, and the communion scene, I think from Batman vs. Superman. And like he's there and he's talking with Steppenwolf, but at the same time, Superman has just died, and there's like a radius where all the DC universe like feels the shock of this man dying. And one thing that I had thought about, in hindsight, after seeing it about 4 times, it's like what they said is that the moment that he died, like Earth really had no protection. So it was almost as though they were cognizant of how he was there. They don't go into it, but it was just so like a comic book moment that it took me back, man. I really was in love with that moment. So any of you guys have like a special moment that you thought kind of set off the mood that it's like, okay, this is gonna be something different?
A special what? That's a good question, actually.
Because there's a lot of them. I could go for days on,
Yeah, like I literally just gave it 10 out of 10, so I would have to really think of a one moment.
I think for me, while you're thinking about it, Jarrell, I think for me the thing for me is that Snyder got to come back in and keep that continuity of everything since Man of Steel. So with Batman v Superman, where it picks up right where Man of Steel was ending, but giving it from the Bruce Wayne perspective. This one kicks off right where BVS is ending, and I love the explanation of how the shockwave of his death cry, I call it the death cry, or hope lost, activated all the mother boxes. Like, yo, y'all got free reign to come in here and handle it now. He's gone. So I definitely love that part. I think overall it was just him cleaning it up to where everything made so much more sense and everything got explained, and he took out all the other Josh Whedon bright colored bad joke and sexist crap, which we'll get into a little later.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna go through that very quickly, but I'm not gonna go through that right now. So I think one big thing is, I mean, not to go back, but the Josh Whedon cut didn't have anything to do with Darkseid whatsoever, and Darkseid is very prevalent in this one. How do y'all think about the design of Darkseid, the uses of Darkseid? Because some people are kind of like, you know, this is no different than, you know, a Thanos kind of situation for Avengers, but I felt Darkseid's presence throughout. I felt like every single fabric of this was interwoven with this, you know, understanding that, man, this man is here to annihilate everybody. But how did y'all feel about Darkseid and the handling of him, as well as the voice acting by Ray Porter?
It was all dope. I'm sick of listening to these nitpicky fans that are like, well, the CGI is not as great as Infinity War and Endgame. It's like, shut the fuck up, okay? Jesus Christ. We're talking about a film that, like, the studio literally, every time Zack Snyder was trying to pull, they pulled 10 times harder back. Like, they didn't want you to see this shit. You understand me? So it's like the CGI. And well, first off, I mean, obviously there's many moments where the CGI falters. Same thing happens in Infinity War and Endgame. But don't forget, 80% of the screen when you're watching fucking those Marvel movies are not real. But anyway, but there's actually plenty of moments of shockingly borderline, if not completely, photorealism. For example, when we're talking spoilers, right?
Yeah, everything goes. Okay. We can just go for it.
Everything's on the table, bro.
Okay, sorry, I've talked about this movie so much. I'm just clarifying, but there's a moment where Darkseid where we see a close up of his hand dragging backwards in dirt. Curiously, there's a exact mirror moment with Steppenwolf doing the same. It's just I've seen the movie so many times I just can't place the memory when it happens. But anyways, when this happens, he literally looks photorealistic, flat out. Like I don't want to hear it. And there's many moments of impressive CGI throughout. So it's like, Marvel fans, don't.
Yeah, no. I mean, even to your point, Jarrell, like the history lesson kind of is like, okay, this man, Darkseid, kind of came in on his ship, just ready to just millywop. But even deeper than that, and I think a lot of people kind of like, oh man, Darkseid died too quickly. It was so easy for him to die. But you had the humans, you had the Atlanteans while they were still on land. You had the Themysciran Amazons and the new gods. I mean, the old gods. Like you had all the old gods, Zeus included, his son Ares and Artemis. And so it's kind of like those new gods left a really big foundation of winning this. Because if they weren't there, I don't know that even back then it would have worked. And I kind of was like, y'all, why y'all nitpicking over like at the end of the day, and I'll put it right here, Uxas, this is a young Darkseid. And I think Zack had kind of laid that foundation very early on. And he also didn't have the Omega beams. Now, this is the one thing I wanted to kind of talk about because there was a sequence that happened early, well, right after the moment where Superman was about to get brought back to life, where basically Cyborg, he interfaced with the mother box, and the ship was freaking out. The ship was like, yo, we don't need to do this. We don't need to bring him back because the ship was going through the calculations of how everything was going to end up, that it was going to end up with Darkseid winning, that everything was going to fall. And Superman was going to fall because of the anti-life equation. Now, in that sequence, what did y'all think about that moment? Because my jaw dropped. I can't remember if you had said anything about it, Jarrell, or not, but specifically when you saw like Superman supposedly succumbing to the anti-life equation and just like everybody taking L's, whether it was Diana on the pike with the boatman coins over her eyes, or like literally, I think Aquaman got harpooned with his own trident, and yeah, everybody was pretty much dead.
You talking about the whole I hate to use the term night. Oh, thank you. That's perfect. I don't even have to use the word nightmare. But yeah, no, this first off, I'm gonna be flat out honest with you. I every time this moment happens, like we're so far into the movie that it's hard to retain. No offense, Zack Snyder, but now staring at this moment, I've been looking at these moments from new rock stars, but no, all this actually, I'm gonna be flat out honest with you. I didn't fully what's happening right here didn't fully sink in till I think like today. No offense, Zach, but it is 4 hours in my defense. But no. I don't even know if I have a full opinion on what I'm looking at right now because these moments they fly by so fleetingly, you know. I think this is something maybe I'll have more definitive opinions on maybe like months from now or something. But I guess at the current time it is startling. I had no idea that was Lois's skeleton. I had no idea that this was the Batcave. Did not know that. So I guess the only thing I can say at the current time is I'm impressed. But sadly, I'd be lying if I said I had deeper thoughts.
Yeah. What about you, Ty? So, what did you think about that moment?
For me, this is so I don't know if you recall, but when they were in the ship and they were going to bring Superman back, and the ship kept saying, "Don't do this. It's not a good idea." What have you? At that moment, Cyborg had that vision. He had his own quote unquote nightmare sequence. It's his own. What I think was happening there was the transitional moment where Batman's nightmare sequence from BVS, all of that basically came into. Basically, they were not on that path, that futuristic path, until that moment. Because even the ship said the future has come into the present. I'm paraphrasing here.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. So basically, when Flash took off and brought back Superman, it literally kind of materialized that future. And I think anyone in that future, where he saw Wonder Woman dying, where he saw Aquaman taking the L, I think each and every one of them, in my opinion, maybe had their own vision of that nightmare sequence. Well, no, not every one of them, but everyone who survives had their vision of that nightmare sequence, because those were the people that survived after Superman just went off. And that moment where he's holding Lois's charred body in his hands, I think that's the moment where Darkseid is reciting the anti-life equation to him, and he becomes susceptible and becomes Darkseid's powerful minion who goes through and is part of, has his own legion, kind of like the Batman, the nightmare sequence in BVS. So I think by them bringing Superman back, they literally set that course, which leads to them trying to go back in time in the future to try to stop it from happening or change the future. All this stuff where Darkseid stabs Aquaman and uses the Omega beams to kill some other Atlanteans, all of that is a product of that moment. So Superman's return is really what sets the course for their quote unquote destruction, which formalizes that nightmare sequence.
Yeah. And by the way, I did just want to say, because unfortunately I wasn't able to contribute, because like I said, I had no idea that was Lois' skeleton. I didn't even know that was the Batcave. I literally did not know that. I think I literally just learned that today watching some new Rockstars video. But I did just want to say, though, is that this film has so many things that the MCU just does not have.
Ooh. We
don't even need to say Infinity War and Endgame. That the MCU does not have. I want to be really careful with my wording, because I love the MCU. It's gay all the time. But, like, for example, being poetic or, spectacle on a grandeur scale. You know what I'm saying? Like things like this, the MCU just doesn't really do. Like when Aquaman and Batman are talking, Batman's looking, and then when we pan back to Aquaman, he's disappeared beneath the waves, and you hear that song. Like the Marvel doesn't have poetic moments like this, in my personal opinion. Not like this, where it feels like true poetry, or it feels like art. That's the one thing that the MCU just does not have. Like this almost felt like a giant, insane, like graphic novel art house film, and the MCU does not do that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And even, I mean, the thing about Zack, and I'll say this, every single one of his movies, this man be dropping Easter eggs the most poetically fast way possible. Because even this scene right here, if you go through it, like you're understanding that Superman, even though he's under the submission of the anti-life equation, he's taking like different mementos of the heroes and putting them back on the foundations of where the Justice League is. Like, so you got either Batman's head, presumably, or his cowl. You got, of course, Wonder Woman's shield, and of course, Kilowog's dead body somewhere over there. I'll bring that image up in just a second. But the fact that that's like a small little Easter egg of like the tower that, where they were initially starting with the foundation, it's just crazy, man. I really commend Zack for that. And a lot of people didn't even see Kilowog here. Did y'all see that the first time y'all were watching it? Like a whole lantern was right there.
Nope. I saw a Green Lantern there, but it hadn't registered for me that it was Kilowog until I watched it like a second or third time. And real quick, so for Kieran, and forgive me if I mispronounce your name, for Kieran Kelly, where he said the longest time I thought Man of Steel and Superman Returns were the same movie, but boy was I wrong. Ironically, I found out watching some video today that Henry Cavill actually almost became the Superman of Superman Returns. But when it came to production, the director changed his mind and went with Brandon Routh. So thankfully, Henry dodged that bullet. I felt bad for Brandon Routh, but that's just a bit of irony where he made that statement. But what I think is significant about that scene you're talking about, though, Sam, is where he's collecting all those trophies. I think him holding Batman's cowl, I think that's immediately after the nightmare sequence in BVS. Because remember, when they capture Batman, he drops down, kills the two people on next to him, and then removes the cowl off of Batman and then kills him. I think that's where he goes right after that scene. So I found that really interesting. Also, the fact that the torn card, the card that we see at the end of the nightmare sequence in this movie, that torn card is floating by as well. When it starts to zoom in on Superman, you see a whole bunch of different things there. But that torn card, I found interesting because that means that Batman said, F it, I'm tearing the card up, let him run his mouth about what he did to Robin, and he probably killed him. He probably went straight up. He probably went full Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns on head, dude.
It's just interesting though, because if you go back to BVS, right, the gun that Batman's actually using has a Joker card right there set on it. So I don't know if there's something that happened in between. I did hear something from Emergency Awesome. I'm not sure if it's actually true or not, but that the Justice's Gray edition of Zack Snyder Justice League is going to have an added Joker sequence that wasn't in the normal version. I don't know if that's going to play a hand into that. I know that Zack described in Vanity Fair a situation where I think Batman was having a conversation outside of that outside conversation where it was kind of like Joker was getting in his head and stuff like that. So I don't know if that was it, but yeah, no, that's a great catch, Ty. I didn't even think about that. And we have another member of Team JVS here. What's going on, Keaton?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
What up?
Pretty good, man. Just chilling out, man. Enjoying the Snydercut.
Y'all talking about movies in here? That's what y'all doing?
Yeah, it exists. It's a real movie. Yeah. But no, all jokes aside, Keaton, briefly, I'm not sure if you've seen it anymore since the first time you saw it, but how do you feel about Zack Snyder Justice League, real briefly? And then what was a highlight moment for you that you can never forget from it?
All right. So the thing is, like, I've been waiting for Justice League for a very, very long time. And when the Joss Whedon version came out, I was just like, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't that ain't it. That ain't it. Like, from the moment it turned on and CGI Superman just like looked at the screen, I was that ain't it. This ain't it, Chief. And for the longest time, we waited and we waited and we waited. And even when I thought it was kind of ridiculous, and I'm like, man, I don't know what Zack Snyder is planning, because BVS seemed like it was kind of all over the place. He stuck the landing on this one.
Yeah.
He stuck the landing on this one. And I'm really glad they let it come out, but I am mad as hell at Warner Brothers for giving us that first Justice League. I am, because I was so excited for it, and I sat there in that movie theater and waited and watched it, and I left, and I wanted to like it so bad. I was like, what about this part? And I was just talking to myself, and I'm like,
we all did.
No. And so I feel like one of the main reasons this movie felt so good was because we automatically compare it to the Justice League, right? Yeah. We automatically compare it to that, which isn't saying much. It's like, oh wow, like I was it's like starving to death versus anything else. It didn't have to do much for it to be better. But it wasn't just better, it was actually good. And that's what I liked so much about it. It was actually good. They developed the characters, they made it relevant, they answered little questions that made the whole thing make sense. Why are you putting that up there, man?
Oh my God.
Why you even put that up?
I'm so sorry.
I'm leaving the studio. Why would you do that?
So sorry.
I was personally offended. Personally offended.
Listen.
Wow.
So I wasn't. Here's the funny thing. As mad as I am about what WB did for giving us the Justice trash, that pales in comparison to my irate self in the fact that even though they gave him the $70 million budget to finish it and put it out, they done turned around and said, oh, this isn't canon. What are we dealing with now? Is this Disney with Star Wars now? Like, this is kind of like, all right, our bad, but we gonna still smack you in the face and let you know we still run things. Like, that's just that's not an apology. That's stupid. Like, let the man be the Kevin Feige for the DCEU. He's already got it laid out. The other directors of the other movies have no problem with that, and he's already been like, they've already said he's for whatever they want to do, as long as they add little tidbits in it to keep the continuity of the story. And so WB needs to take like 1,000 milligram dose to shut the F up and let this man do his thing.
No, listen,
they're not gonna. The thing is, I honestly at this point hope Zach's moves to bigger and better things, because looking at this situation, it's like watching your homie date a girl that's been doing him dirty the whole time, and he's like, listen, I think she's changed. We're gonna clean it up, and we really are gonna work it out. And you just like, bro, just move on. Like, just She ain't the one. She
No,
ain't
listen
the
to me.
one.
Listen to me. I refuse. Listen, I know all these fans. They're like, well, they said no, so I guess we gotta give up. I refuse to give up. You understand me? There's a moment in 12 Years a Slave with Chiwetel. He goes, I will keep myself hardy until freedom is opportune. And that's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. I will not give up. I will not give up, Zach.
I'm with you, Jarrell. Like I will die on that hill with you to get this Snyderverse restored. We are
100%.
owed. We are owed that much. Do you understand how much we pay monthly for HBO Max?
Because seriously, as I was watching it, because me and Sam, I screened it with him when we watched it, when it hit, I think it was like 70 minutes in. When the Flash's backstory scene with Iris West and the crash came.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I watched that
so
scene.
Amazing, bro.
They could have cut it. They could have cut it off right there. And I would have been like, I approve. This is exactly what I want. That scene was so good. Almost all of the stuff that they cut out of it or that wasn't there made it so much better. Made it so much better, and it's like, where was this? Like, I still don't understand the full story as far as what happened on set with Ray Fisher and Joss Whedon. But I'm like, bro, he made the movie. He was the human part of that movie.
All pun intended. He is justified. His justice has come. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, man, we needed him in this movie to make you care about anything. Mm-hmm. To make, like seriously, letting Aquaman say more things than and all right. Like
my man.
No, like, that was no. To your point, there was a scene
Rick and Morty mess, man. Like,
what happened? There was a scene where Barry Allen was like just kind of eating some food, carbohydrate loading or whatever, and like I think Aquaman like is kind of like looking at Cyborg trying to fix the ship, and he was like, man, this kid has lost everyone, and he just lost the last person in his life. Like, this isn't fair. And we're asking him to risk his life for the entire world. And like Barry was kind of like, I thought you didn't care. He's like, I never said that, bro. And he just walks off. And like, they're so much better than whatever the lasso scene that they did in the theatrical. Like, that's keeping to his character.
Man, F that lasso scene, bro.
But real.
F that lasso scene. That lasso scene was garbage. But wait, here's the thing. We're talking about all these scenes that we could have stopped at. I'm sorry. That's way too far. I was good. I would have given it a standing ovation and left after the Wonder Woman scene. Woo! The Wonder Woman scene was such a drastic change. Like the Wonder Woman scene where she's taking out the terrorists. My God. I said the next 3.5 hours are going to be phantasmagorical. It's going to be off the chain.
When she caught homie, when he was about to land on the crowd and she caught homeboy and threw him against the
like punch that dude. She was like, "Oh, my bad, y'all. This trash ain't for y'all. This is on the other side of the hallway."
The like, come on, sequences, man. The action sequences in this one were not playing around. When Steppenwolf hit Themyscira and hit homegirl with Bradshaw's clothesline from hell off her horse, then threw the horse at her.
Yo,
that's a villain right there.
No, my man, look, when my man got up off the ground after catching like 10 or 12 arrows front and back, tossed all them Amazons with rope connected to their horses, and then broke them arrows off by a straight flex. Like, bro, look at my pecs
over them like Allen Iverson.
How you flex arrows off, B? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How you ain't even use the axe to cut them off or what? Like, you flex and they drop. Like, come on. And this is after he done did a whole Superman out the water and just shoulder leaned on a horse as he landed going by. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is so much better than some fake face looking dude who's who's worshiping his quote unquote mother. Like, this dude went from I hear you, mother, to I will bathe in your fear. Like, whole entire different Steppenwolf. I don't know who the Justice
different
League
character. They gave him a backstory. Exactly. Oh, this is why he's doing this. This is what he's trying to do. This is why they're here on Earth. Like, everything in the original version, it was like, what is the plot? I don't know what's going on or what they're trying to do. And in this one, they answered it. And it's little things that made this whole thing better. I love the action sequences. But the little things, the little questions they answered. Why is Batman on that horse? The little stuff that they answered made it better. Because otherwise it's just like, okay, what is going on?
Everything got it.
By the way, can I just say that, like, even though there's no action or anything, but like, oh my goodness, even thinking about it makes me so jacked. But when Bruce at the beginning of the film, when he walks into that tavern, I suppose, and he's looking for Aquaman. And this man's like, someone's like, oh, he came from the mountains, Batman. This guy's like, what? He came over the mountains. That's impossible. No man can come over the mountains. And literally what happened in my mind, literally, I was like, oh, are you trying to say that no man could climb over those mountains? As if to suggest only one man could? Batman?
Batman is the Chuck Norris of the Justice League.
Look, hell yeah. And the thing is, I do love this Batman. This, like, I've been doing this for 20 years. At this point, I'm trying to save people and I'm just trying to survive. Because, man, when Batman at the end of that movie, Batman grabbed one of their guns so quick. He was like, look, I know what I'm about. I know that I ain't gonna be the one to beat Steppenwolf. That ain't me. I already know.
Right.
Y'all gonna see me climbing up afterwards and celebrating and striking the pose with y'all when we hit that Ginyu at the end. But I'm not the one for Steppenwolf. That's on y'all.
No, but he was putting in work though, bro. He was out. He was out taking care of all the perimeter. Anybody that was a grunt, he was taking them out with precision. I think that Diana was down on the ground, like, doing their work. And, like, he was just sniping them with the turret. And I said, that's my dog. And I feel so bad. I feel so bad for Ben Affleck. This man was not only going through a divorce, he was going through alcoholism. He was dealing with the craziness with Warner Brothers. Like, he was literally losing his mind. And that was the last impression we had in 2017 of what his legacy is for the Batman.
Bro,
and to
Warner
know
Brothers love kicking people while they're down.
But I mean, no, to be fair, but what he did in this is, I mean, it has to be such a redemption in his own eyes. And I don't know if he's going to let his kids see it, but it's so much closer to the version in BVS that we loved. And he grew, because one of the other things that they don't even talk about, I don't think any critic has talked about it, is that he's not openly just rude and candid. Like, he's actually a little bit more faith-based. Like, he was like telling Alfred, he's like, bro, like, I'm not going on calculations here. I'm going on straight up faith. We need them to work. I need Superman back because I'm having faith. There's no other option here. I've done it my way. I literally killed a guy, and I'm trying to make recompense for that by any means necessary, putting my life on the line yet again. And that's Batman. Like, he grew from the version that was just like, I'm done with all this and I'm doing this because of whatever. Like, now he's like, no, I need redemption because the world needs this. And I'm going to do whatever means that's. And for me as a Batman fan, I was the second time I watched it, I was like so jaded, bro, because I was like, how did they let this happen? But to be fair, aside from Wonder Woman, and even now, technically now, because they put a whole bunch of butt shots and sensual nature stuff that was disrespectful to her character, but everybody else's character got the boot. Like, they were just made stupid or irrelevant. Like, we talked about Ezra Miller's The Flash. He was on such ADHD. Like, it was kind of like, in this, he was the pivotal focus that saved everybody. If he wasn't there, it didn't matter if it was a Superman, because Superman got disintegrated.
Yeah,
he was the thing that saved everybody. I was just like,
Can we acknowledge the fact that we went from this dude pushing a truck, saving a family who I don't even know how you live in an irradiated area like that, but right, like I'm like, oh, so y'all just decided to have like a Chernobyl front property, but
right.
Can we just admit for the fact that this dude went from saving these kids and this family by pushing a truck to literally reversing time and saving the entire planet. Like he ran into the synchronization of what was to be the destruction of the world and pushed back time.
Yes. Instead of a truck.
To save it. Like, come on.
I have a question about that. I have a question about that. Because again, I'm not gonna be one of those people that's like, yeah, I saw the film. I know all 112 Easter eggs. I don't know any of that shit. But when that explosion happens, so like, I'm confused. So like, say Flash took a bullet in the head or something. Like, maybe Superman aside, like everyone just flat out died in that moment. Like everyone just died in that moment. Had it not been Flash?
They all died, bro. They died.
But how are we defining? How are we defining?
Yeah,
Superman have been like dead? Question mark?
Yeah, he was dead.
He's gone.
He was dead.
Yeah,
like,
the whole entire planet was obliterated. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw his body come back together. So the way I interpreted what happened was when the mother boxes combined and that huge explosion happened, Flash was already tapping into the Speed Force then. That's why it looked like everything was frozen at the explosion level. But by then, it had already gotten to the people that were right up there on it.
Yeah.
And basically, he ran back through there. And as he was running back through it, he was reversing time.
Okay, but I guess my issue is, why is it that this explosion appears to have killed Superman?
So let me help you out with that, Jarrell. So basically, if you think about the boxes, the mother boxes, kind of the same way as the device that Zod used in Man of Steel. Basically, where the device used in Man of Steel was going to basically turn Earth into Krypton.
It was
the Unity boxes, the mother boxes were going to terraform the Earth into apocalypse. And that would have been the ultimate destruction of all life on the planet. The thing is, and this is where you have the difference between Justice League and Snydercut, because in Justice League, Flash doesn't say the whole weird thing about time, and when I run past the speed of light, weird things happen with time, so I don't usually do it that much. They just went right into bringing Superman back. The whole reason it's in there, and he says that, is because at the moment of the explosion, Flash is now breaking the rule he said he doesn't like to break. He doesn't like doing it, but when I get past the speed of light, weird things happen with time, but he can also build up an electrical charge to charge the mother box. So he knew once that explosion happened, he was like, that's why he said, look, I got to break my rule. I got to break the speed of light. I got to do it fast and do it now. So he literally went past the speed of light, and he was literally going faster than time was reversing, because at first it looks like when he was stepping on the ground was coming back. He actually was stepping on where the ground was going to be when it came back, because he actually then you see the wide shot where he's running past the ground coming back. So what you see is, as that's happening, you then see, and I love Zack for this, is all the people that were destroyed immediately in the vicinity of the synchronization, Wonder Woman, Superman, and all that. That's why you see them come back. You see bone, you see muscle sinew, then you see skin, then you see Superman's suit, and you see the same thing for Cyborg, because he's literally going back through time to get back to that point, just like he did, just like they showed with the mother box coming back up out of the water before he touched it. He literally got everybody back, going back through time before he touched Cyborg, before it was too late. So that's why it was so crucial for him to make that statement in Superman's ship and then do the thing here, because he's literally the reason the world is saved.
Well, the one thing I thought
between him and Cyborg.
Really quick, Jarrell, too, just to add to that. So basically, instead of like engine kind of like slowly terraforming it, as soon as the unity is one, everything explodes. The whole entire planet is engulfed. So you remember when Cyborg had his first moment where he touched the mother box, and you see from one pivot point, the whole entire Earth got encapsulated in that explosion. That's what happened. So from that point, everything was going to be gone. So that was why Superman was gone. That's why everybody was gone.
Well,
anybody in post-processing was gone.
Yeah, my only confliction is like, in my mind, I've never seen an explosion kill Superman. So in my mind, I just thought it was a bit odd. I thought, like, Superman would still be there, but the planet would be gone. It was odd seeing Superman being disintegrated by explosion. I guess that's the thing that I'm getting at.
So
I think this was
right. The one thing that I will say is that they said that the mother boxes couldn't really be destroyed.
Yep.
And so everything that hit them, whether it was heat, whether it was someone being physically rough with it, it absorbed all of that. So my idea too was also, whenever they did reconnect, it was going to purge all of the energy that they had been taking in over all of those thousands of years.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? So you're saying the power scale of the mother boxes is greater than Superman?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah, I do. Because I mean, honestly, because he wouldn't even came back if it wasn't for it. It's the same exact energy that, I mean, they kind of talked around the idea of like how the mother boxes could bring, what did they say?
So it's a matter of matter, because remember when they had the discussion, they said, matter is the same. If you burn a house down, the matter is still there. The house is now smoke. But the mother boxes basically revert the smoke back into a house. So that's why they got the idea of, well, maybe they could use that energy to bring Superman back to life. So if they have the power to bring Superman, who was dead, back to life, they probably have the power to eradicate him as well. The irony of it is that if they had actually failed and the Earth was incinerated and became another apocalypse, we really wouldn't have the nightmare sequence, because Superman is dead, Cyborg's dead. Stop that, man. Superman is dead, Cyborg's dead, Batman, everybody's literally gone. But by them saving the world and separating the mother boxes, they've literally put themselves back on the path to this nightmare sequence.
Yeah,
very true. And the thing about the climactic part of that movie is I appreciated where everybody got their due. Like Wonder Woman avenged the Themyscirans with Steppenwolf. Superman came back. He saved the day. Flash saved the day. And then the part that actually touched me, the part that got to me the most, and I actually ended up like getting in my feelings a little bit with it, when Cyborg is inside the mother boxes and he's talking to his family, and he's like, you see him come full circle, and he's like, I'm not broken and I'm not alone. And like that right then, I'm like, this is the point of the movie right here. You're better with a family and with a group than you are going solo. That was the whole point. Every time you've seen any Justice League origin story, that's the point.
Yeah.
And they never made you care about that in the original one. In this one, that whole first 3 hours is all about, this is why all of these broken people need each other.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because like all of them were in this very disconnected place. Like Diana was away from her Amazon, and she's been away from Steve, and so she's jaded. She's been away from the world. Batman, we know where he was at. Flash, I mean, he's trying to find himself, and yet, I mean, one of the things I never talked about, I guess, now we can kind of fully talk about, is the fact of Zack's usage of the Flash's powers in this. is that he has to be so delicate with touching actual people.
At speed,
at actual given speed. Because initially he had talked about it, he kind of pitched it, I think, in his director's cons, and I was kind of like, I don't know about that. But it made me feel that his character is so much more focused, that he's making calculations, that he's
absolutely
understanding that not only is life so precious, but even when you think about his dad, it ain't just a situation where he could just take his dad and just run him out. Like, no, he has the power to do anything, but at the same time, he has to be careful with every small little thing. And somebody was like really critiquing that one moment with Iris, and they were like, why was that necessary? I was like, bro, first off, that was one of the most romantic, beautiful things that Barry Allen's ever done, even in the Flash TV show. But it also shows you how he's being very careful how he touches her, how he's maneuvering her, because everything else he touched and everything else he ran through disintegrated. Yeah. Whether it was the glass, whether it was the ground,
his shoes.
Anything. Yeah. Busted out of his shoes. And like the physiology of the way that Zack is working with, I was like, bro, I ain't never even thought about it. I'm going to do a whole breakdown on just the usage of the Flash in the most amazing way. Because he even controlled his healing, bro. Like, he was like hurt. And he was like, bro, I gotta heal. I was like, yo, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
They did him justice because, man, the first time I watched it, I legitimately, did a heavy overboard sigh in the movie theater when all of a sudden it's just this family in this house eating baked potatoes next to next to a nuclear reactor. I was so mad.
Oh my god!
Oh, by the way, with Superman, I just thought about this. So, like, I always had a weird fucking feeling when they were bringing back Superman. There's something very it's hard to articulate, but there's something very Night of the Living Dead, sort of George Romero about the way that they bring back Superman. Like, it doesn't feel right. And is that why Superman is always bad in the Nightmare sequence? Because it's not really Superman. Superman's dead.
No, it's Superman. Zack Snyder was paying homage to the death and return of Superman when Superman was originally killed by Doomsday. His body was buried, disappeared, what have you. But basically, he came back. And the first thing he did was put on the black suit. The reason we have that sequence where he takes off like he does in Man of Steel and goes right to the sun is because that black and silver suit is specially designed for him to absorb more of the sun's radiation. And I wish
they had said that in the movie.
Right. But you know what? You know, the thing about it is, though, I have to give Zack credit because sometimes there is no need, to say something. And if you don't know it, he'll at least poise you to research it. Like, he didn't get to really say anything about Robin's suit in the Batcave, but for those of us that know, or for more than likely somebody's going to ask the question. Prime example, Jeffrey Lane is on the chat. What's going on? He had asked about, is the Bat Tank in the movie? And yes, you see it here now, Jeff Lane. It was in the epilogue piece where Silas Stone is telling the father side of the message to Cyborg. But there isn't anything like Night of the Living Dead or anything about it. Actually,
well, not too specifically. It's just like I think there's just something about the way in which they resurrect him that I just felt like Zack was saying, like, this is wrong. I get like what the events you're about to say, but they shouldn't have really done that. And I just think it would be curious to speak to that because, like, Lois simply dying should not be enough for Superman to go evil in these nightmare sequences. So I think that'd be a curious.
I think that. Okay.
Sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I think that. It was supposed to feel creepy. I think that your feeling is not wrong. I think it's actually merited because even the ship was like, this is going to lead us down this path that y'all are not going to be able to come back from. I think the crux of that is that we don't know. Well, some of us don't know like how we got to that point of, you know, him being under the submission of the anti-life equation, how Lois died in the Batcave, and all the in-betweens. I think it's just laying a foundation to get to that point. But I think it was supposed to feel very bad. And at the same time, it was essential. It's like they didn't have a choice. No matter what, it had to happen. But that goes back to the epilogue nightmare sequence where Joker was saying to Batman, which is, we got to talk about that in a little bit. Well, he was kind of just like on lines like, how many times are you going to have to mess with the timeline until you actually die yourself? And I was kind of like, whoa, how many times have they done this? And it makes sense why in BVS, Ezra's character was like, am I late? Am I too late? And he kept on saying, she's the key, or whatever. And we didn't know what the heck that meant. Now you finally get an understanding of it. But even with that, that means that multiple timelines are still being, from this pivot point, because they needed Superman back, it also doomed the planet no matter what. And so they're having to find out what that means.
So there has been talk about that. Can I talk about that?
No, I don't want to bring that up because Zach has already confirmed that it's not going to be where it's going, and I don't got time for it. I don't have time for it.
No, the thing is, it's pertinent. It's pertinent to the movie. It's pertinent to a scene in the movie.
Let's talk about this instead. How about that?
What are we talking about? This is Frank Miller's thing. We already know about this.
No, but some people didn't want to talk about it.
No, and by the way,
look, you said this is going to be a full let go spoiler talk. Can I talk about it real quick?
But it's not prevalent to this.
No. I just want to say something real quick. I don't care what anyone says. This is my conspiracy theory. It's real short. When they showed that pregnancy test with Lois,
that's what I don't care.
I don't care what anyone says. This is my conspiracy theory. I'm putting on the tinfoil hat. Bruce Wayne and Lois fucked. You hear me?
That's what I want to talk about.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
That's why. Look. Can I talk about it real quick?
That that's not true because that's supposed to happen later on.
That didn't happen.
It didn't happen from the point. It didn't happen. I'm saying it's supposed to happen later. It's not. It didn't happen in this point. From what Zach even said was that. Well, never mind. Go ahead. Continue.
Because Zach changed the scene. It's pertinent because Zach changed the scene in the Snydercut. He did change the scene and made it pertinent. That's what I wanted to talk about. That pregnancy test you saw, right? I think she was already pregnant because at the scene where they're moving Martha back into the house, and Clark is asking how he got the house back from the bank. He said he bought the bank. If you look at the Justice League, she's carrying in a U-Haul box. Into the Snydercut, she's carrying a baby basket. And he says, congratulations, by the way.
But so what I'm saying is that
I thought it was congrats on the engagement.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought too. Till I looked at it again and I saw she was carrying a baby basket and not a U-Haul box like she was in the Justice League.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. That Zach has been saying that her and Clark are having a baby. Like he said,
yes, they are
recently. That's what I'm saying. So it isn't like I think what he was planning later on down the line. Yeah, but this was more so that okay, they're now married and they're having a baby. Like Clark and Lois are having a baby. That's what I'm telling. He's saying.
Yeah, now. Yeah, but I still like the theories of how. Because the thing is, Lois is dead in the Batcave, and the theory that they gave about her having an argument with Bruce, like Jarrell said, that Bruce and Lois got together. Lois apparently tells Bruce the baby is not his. They got into an argument. He takes off. Darkseid shows up, kills her. That's why Superman's distraught. That's why he gets the anti-life equation, and that's why he goes after Batman. But the theory, as Zach has said, it was that the baby, when they reverse and fix everything, you find out the baby is Superman's. Batman does protect Lois from Darkseid, sacrifices himself. They have a kid with no powers, and that kid eventually becomes the new Batman. Yeah. That's what I loved about the whole theory all the way around. You know, I just loved it. I thought it was great. I just really, really hope that they bring back the Snyderverse so we can see it all. Like I'm fighting for that.
Is this true? Because if this is true, this I don't know entirely, but
thank you for the $2 donation. I really appreciate that. Yeah, he did confirm.
Yeah, shout out to Andy, man. Appreciate the love.
But they're gonna be fucking eventually. So, but no, when Superman it appears that Batman, or when it appears that Superman is going to kill Batman, okay, and then Lois shows up. Was she pregnant, and did he see the baby inside of her? Is that what made him click?
My theory is that them bringing him back is like Ra's al Ghul and the Lazarus pits. Like when he comes back, there's a temporary moment of madness where you don't know who you are. Anytime we've seen Ra's al Ghul come back,
he sees his daughter, and then
his daughter would like slap the ish out of him, and he would come to his senses. Much like when he used it to bring Jason Todd back, he didn't get a chance to do that. So Jason Todd, went off the rails, becoming the Red Hood. But I think in that moment, he was still trying to figure out what was going on. Cyborg cybernetics realized something was off, and he shot at him, which shouldn't have happened. But once that happened, he just started defending himself. But you notice when Wonder Woman said, "Kal-El, last son of Krypton, remember who you are," he had a quick moment where he was like, "That sound familiar," and he had that look on his face, but it hadn't all the way registered. What he does remember was the beef he had with Batman in the last movie.
Yeah, he was straight out trying to kill that man.
He was straight going after that dude, like with reckless abandon.
And now, how do y'all think about the comparison of how Justice League version did it versus this one? I'm gonna tell you, for me, I thought this was doper. I felt like that would be something Batman would do. He's got these gauntlets. They already laid the foundation. The gauntlets repel that amount of energy. But even the gauntlets were overflowing. Like he had to throw one of them out, and he was barely surviving. But he was kind of like, it's about my time to die. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just being on the ground, like, oh, this hurts. Like, how did y'all feel about this version?
Justice version can kick rocks. It's all about this.
Yeah, I don't know why are people still talking about the fucking Joss Whedon version. Like, I'm so confused. Like, I don't know why we have to like talk about this version and that movie in tandem. Fuck the Joss.
This is one of the few times you get
shout
to
out
like
Kai for the $5 donation.
Thanks, Kai.
Compare directly to the lowest bar.
Right.
Do that.
Right. And unfortunately,
nobody talks about the trash they threw out. They threw it out. Trash collector's going to pick it up. You don't think about it after that. Listen, as soon as this thing is on 4K UHD, I'm going to put that Justice League in my microcut shredder, and I'm going to shred it. I won't even give it the dignity of reselling it or giving it to someone else. No, it is gone. Trash.
A quick little tidbit for anybody that purchased the Batman vs Superman 4K version. If it didn't sell out on you, there's a really big, like 24 to 30 minute documentary on the Justice League, which is actually really dope. So definitely go and check that out. As well as like Zack Snyder does a brand new commentary from beginning to end of BVS as well. So definitely go and check that out. I don't know why they didn't just put it on HBO Max. It didn't make any sense to me, but whatever. The BVS version of the IMAX, it actually sold out everywhere, so it doesn't even matter. They made money. So
holy shit. But no, I just want to say real quick, they totally missed an opportunity because I hate when Lois just shows up at the opportune time, coincidentally, just to help save the day. Like it would have been so much stronger if that rumor was true. And like Lois was pregnant, and like he saw the baby, and that would have got me. But since that didn't happen, I hate that moment, unfortunately.
But
Zach.
I think it's still better than them demoralizing Lois being the key in terms of Alfred bringing up Lois in the car to bring Superman back to his senses. The whole reason she was there was because it was going to be her last time visiting that site. He had already built that up. Like she had continuously visited that site every day until Martha, as I call it, Martha Manhunter, convinced her to go back to work, and she went back to go visit one last time. But that one last time was when dude came back. And if he was powerful enough to remember how much he hated Batman, I'm sure he was powerful enough to remember how much he loved Lois. So I think that knocked him back to his senses, Lazarus Pit style.
I mean, I'm with you, but this question is for any of y'all. I mean, would it not have been more emotionally hitting if, like, he went to laser Lois and then, like, he sees a piece of himself, the baby, and then sees Lois and he's like, oh.
If it was kind of like a situation where he realizes that was his kid, I don't think it was just necessary because he wasn't in his right mind. Like, he didn't even know.
I agree.
Who he was or what was going on. Like, I think that he was kind of like in fight or flight mode, literally. And I honestly feel like the only reason why Cyborg reacted the way he did is because Cyborg literally just saw this man taking like Batman's head and putting it on the pike close to the Justice League location. So I mean, I think that like Cyborg was justified in feeling the way he did because, like, yo, I'm terrified. I don't know if we should have brought this guy because I think that. I think
he didn't want to do it. His Norton antivirus kicked in.
Yeah, he literally said no, and Barry was like, "You said go," and so Barry just went. But yeah, nah,
So I think so. It looks like Joe, Jarrell, your theory is justified. We got folks saying that Zach had an interview with Cinema Blend and said that Superman did see the baby inside of Lois, which made.
Really?
Hit pause. Yeah, we got Ryan Rivera and Abdul A saying that he saw the fetus inside of Lois. He confirmed it. So I mean, right, which is why I go back to the congratulations is the baby, not the engagement.
Interesting, but
that's very interesting.
But that's weird. Anyway, so then that makes a whole nother issue. How long is Clark been in the grave?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. We don't know.
Not that long because she ain't showing, right? But like,
right. But like, there is the theory
like
that
even if he confirmed it with Cinema Blend, like that's J.K. Rowling as hell. Like, I feel like that's just here's a tidbit that I just decided right now after I left the gas station. Like,
man, listen to me. I'm so sorry, but like, for you to sit here and tell me to tell me that the thing that stopped Superman, a god, from murdering his whole fucking squadron was just seeing her baby blues. Sorry, that doesn't work for me. But if he's actually like saw the baby in her, now that for whatever reason that hits me emotionally. But maybe I'm alone. I don't know.
So you got to remember this is supposed to be all continuous. So we can theorize that.
Okay, so they confirmed it's 1 month. Okay, that makes so much more sense. So
it's 1 month since the death.
That's cool.
So we then have to theorize that when she actually got pregnant was when he came home with the bag and the flowers and jumped in the tub with his clothes on and everything, and they started doing the thing. That's probably when she got pregnant in BVS. Because I mean,
working.
This is what we reviewing right now. We really
listen. I love Zack Snyder stuff. Don't judge me. Listen.
When they smash, I want to know.
After what she went through, and look, my man took a dude through a wall for his chick. Trust me, he was getting something. He was getting something. You put somebody through the wall for your chick. Trust and believe.
Yeah, no condom, son.
Right. Shout out to East Blue Drew.
Cut it off.
Raw. She getting the whole last.
This is why I said we should be talking about the mutants. I specifically was like, I knew we were going to get to this point. Anyway, it is what it is. So switching gears really quick. Have we covered everybody? I think we've covered everybody. Even like Superman. So the Superman moment, what did y'all feel about the Superman second flight? Because one of the things I loved about it is they brought your boy Kevin Costner and Russell Crowe back for some extra dialogue. It wasn't until the second time I watched it I really appreciated it, because there's something along the lines of like, you suffered, but we're always here. We've always been proud of you, and it's time. But what did y'all think about like just him coming back, him going and getting the black suit and him flying off? What did y'all feel about that moment?
I like it. I really loved how he came back, and I'm not gonna lie, just those little snippets between like Jor-El and Jonathan Kent. That's the only time I've ever cared about Kevin Costner's character. I don't really care about him in Man of Steel. Couldn't stand him. But in this, when it's showing like the back and forth, like, yeah, I actually have two fathers and both of them are talking to me right now, and I got something to do, and I'm trying to find my place again in this world because I've gotten a second chance. Like, I love how they did the whole thing when it's just like, all right, you know what? We're going back to Kansas. We're gonna be out here in this cornfield figuring this stuff out. And I appreciated him reuniting with his mom more than I did with Lois. Like, that was just more touching to me, like a mom that lost her kid and suddenly she sees him again and he's back. Yeah. I was just like, that tugged at my heartstrings more than the Lois scene. And then having him go back to the ship and it's like, all right, I got to go back to work. Got to do it. Like, let's get it done. And seeing him just take that walk down and hearing both dads talking in his ear, I thought it was a very well done scene.
Yeah, it was another tidbit. I saw a little bit of the scene, I think, because my mom was watching it.
Yeah, I agree with what he just said. The Man of Steel theme on top did make it better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, the Man of Steel soundtrack is one of the best they've ever done.
What I love about this right here, this photo you got right here, Sam, is when I saw this in the movie. Y'all remember when they finally put Clark in the ground, and at the very last moment,
the ground was kind of
after Lois threw the dirt on the coffin. Yes. How at that last moment the dirt kind of raised off the coffin. As soon as I saw this image right here, as soon as I saw them do this, I was like, they must be harkening back to that. Because it just, I got so boosted when I saw that, because I don't recall. I remember the ground shaking in Man of Steel when he was getting ready to take off, but I don't recall the ground ever coming up and circling around him like that when he took off in Man of Steel. So I thought that was epic. But it just reminds me that Zack don't miss anything. Like, all the tidbits that Zack throws in always has a meaning, whether it's in the same movie or further down.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that in the first time he did his first flight, he had his fist down, and he kept his fist down the whole entire time until the ripple effect happened. He catapulted, but this time he opened up his hands, and like, it was kind of like, okay, like, he's got this fully understood now. Like, he fully understands what his true capability is, and at the same time, he's got the backing, and that's one of the things I appreciate that Jedi Mike loved him, Clark, as we loved you. And that was the moment where he kind of took off. And I was like, that's so reminiscent of like a difference in where he came from when he first started in Man of Steel to right here. So as a trilogy, so some of you guys feel indifferent with BVS, but if you think about Man of Steel to this, how do you feel about this as a trilogy? Setting aside anything that goes forward, how do y'all take this as a trilogy as far as any of the other superhero franchises that y'all have seen?
It's incredibly flawed, but I'd be lying if I said that I did not like BVS Ultimate Edition.
Yeah,
and I love Man of Steel. I love this film, but I mean, I can tell you were trying not to swing this way, but it has to continue. That's my true thoughts. It has to continue.
I'm right with you, man. Like, the only thing that I really don't like is the repetitive pattern where a recut or an extended version or ultimate edition of a movie makes it that much better and more understandable. I couldn't stand BVS. Like Keaton said, it was all over the place. But when the Ultimate Edition came out and we got those extra scenes, it felt more grounded to me. Like, the first BVS was like, okay, I'm literally coming to see Batman and Superman go at it, and they literally go at it for all of maybe 10 minutes until they realize they mamas got the same name. Like, that kind of pissed me off. But then when you saw the little extra scenes of Clark going to Gotham, looking up Superman, looking up Batman, and all the other added scenes fleshed it out. Snydercut is basically, the Ultimate Edition of Justice League, whereas it just makes so much more sense. That's why I feel like Jarrell, like it has to continue. Like you don't it's hard to I find it very, very hard to accept WB being so narcissistic and just uppity to where you have one of the best cliffhangers I've ever seen, which is a face off. Like these dudes literally did a 3-point combo of a backstab of a trident, a punch to the face, and a beheading as this body is traveling through a boom tube, and they all just stand there and face off like, yeah, you can get this work if you want, and you just leave it at that. I don't that's not passing muster for me, man. Like I need the, as a trilogy, I love it, but I can't really fully call it a trilogy because it's got that
it's not really a trilogy.
It's not really done.
Yeah,
like this is supposed to be a saga. Just like we got the Infinity Saga, this is supposed to be a Justice Saga, and I want Snyder to have his Justice Saga. That's what I want.
Now, here's one thing I will say about this though, because this one was good. This Ultimate Edition was good, and I know that Snyder had a plan that he wanted to see done. That being said, it's very, very easy to take a test after you've seen it. That Justice League cut, the first one that came out, was bad. Everybody knew it was bad. Everybody talked about why it was bad. And then they made the Snyder cut.
Hold on.
Right?
Let me know. Technically, Zach already shot all this joint. And he was even willing
they did
to
reshoots. I thought they brought people back.
No, I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna break it down real quick.
Okay.
He actually never saw Justice League either.
Between 2015 and 2016, Zack Snyder shot everything that you saw on March 18th. Everything.
Okay.
Everything that was shot, minus the epilogue sequence. The epilogue sequence was an added scene with Jared Leto, where he brought, everybody was in that moment. That's the only thing that he shot.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Okay.
So after the passing of his daughter, and he kind of still tried to work for a little bit. Warner Brothers tried to get him to kind of change some things up. Like they didn't want. The only thing that I'll say is the look of Steppenwolf. He never wanted that look of Steppenwolf. Warner Brothers said to him, no, this is too violent. This is too much. They made him change it to something crazy, which what we got. Aside from that, everything would have kind of plotted the same exact way. And so then he had to leave. And so they brought Josh Whedon in. When Josh Whedon came in, they said to him, well, yeah, Zach wants this 3.5 hour long movie or 3 hour long movie. We needed 2 hours. So they took him to break it 2 hours. And in addition to that, add all these different reshoots and bring everybody back. And the reason why Henry looked the way that he did is Henry's like, yo, I already shot all my scenes. They added all those extra scenes from what Zach already shot. Zach already shot all the principal photographer, the whole 4.5 hour movie. And they took it and they crippled it. So no, everything that you saw is exactly what Zach shot. And Josh went and reshot the whole entire film, which is insane.
Gotcha.
But
I respected that much more then.
But as far as the foundations of this, it's hard because I agree. It's hard to treat it like a trilogy. It is and it isn't. That there's a lot more. Foundationally, there's a lot more there. Like it's literally like a whole storyboard that Zach has literally pushed out there to the internet to show. And he even kind of, said that since that time of those storyboards, he came up with conceptually something completely different. So, I mean, it's definitely a lot more story to tell. It's just a question of whether or not they are. From what the article said, that this is not canon and they don't want to do anything with it, nor should they. And so the question to me is kind of like, and I bring this into this to Jarrell, is why not take this in a serial format and make it a series on HBO Max? If you don't want it in the theaters, cool. You stay in your lane. But why not allow him to put it on HBO Max as a series then? Then it's not in your way. It's not a movie. but it still continues it. Because I was going to tell you this, Keaton. He pitched to them to continue it as a comic book. They said no. He pitched it to them with J.L. Leavitt as an animated feature. They said no. He initially wanted this to come out as a series. They said no. It needs to be a movie. And so everywhere that
break up with her. That's what I'm talking about. Break up with her. Leave this chick. Go, Zack Snyder. Go do something else.
But it's hard because it's a situation where he had a child with this chick. That's the best way to put it.
And what about his vision? And what about his vision? You know, it's not completed.
It's hard. It's just hard.
Like this ain't no normal breakup. Like he had a child with this other
right,
chick.
Exact. Like this is his baby.
He's still paying child support
for real.
Like he got the bad end of the stick.
Yeah. And came in Sentai. You're right. You're definitely right. My intention was not to say that the Snyder Cut is the Justice League. No, it's a completely different movie. But I was going to the theme of a second version of a movie coming out makes it more clear. That's the only thing I don't like. Like, can we get that the first go round? Like, could we have gotten BVS, the Ultimate Edition, the first go round? Could we have gotten Zack Snyder's Justice League the first go round? That's all I was trying to say. But if I said that that's the ultimate, no, I'm not. If I said that, I truly apologize because it is not. They are completely different movies, for sure.
Yeah, really quick deep cut. I didn't mean to show that picture. My bad. Hold on. I didn't mean to do that. It was the wrong picture. Give me a second.
Refrain from the mother lover. That's the mother lover.
Did y'all know that the same actor that played Ares in Wonder Woman actually was the same dude? Because it threw me out because I was like, it's a bold ninja. Because he was bald. And so, but then I was like, yo, it's the same cat. And I was like, yo, that's dope. That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. I had no idea. Yeah, this is the original look that he had.
Professor Remus Lupin showed up in both movies.
But I don't know, man.
Did we even get to talk about the fact that? Did we even get to talk about really dig into like Wonder Woman and the possibility that arrow may be her ticket back to Themyscira? Because remember. Because we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about it. When Hippolyta shot that arrow, she did say, return to me, Diana. That might, and I mean, everybody gets their. This is the thing. Everybody gets their moment in the epilogue. Flash is happy running through. Cyborg now has a family. Kind of thing. Superman's good. Batman's got the tank. He's going full Dark Knight Returns. I just like the fact that they gave her that really quick scene where she's standing there looking at that arrow, and I was like, is this going to be her ticket to get back? Like, could she get back with this arrow? I
mean, do you want me to tell you? Because Zach,
he might as well. We talked about the baby. Might as well talk about that.
Yeah, Zach, he confirmed that yes, that's where Diana's headed. Like she's going back to the mascara, and that's going to be her because she couldn't find it any other way. But that arrow is going to allow her to be able to get back. Now, what does that mean? I have no idea because daggone the Amazons took an L. They took a hard L, and I don't know what place that's going to bring her later. But I do think that she needs to have a reunion with the Amazonians. I think it's a must. I wonder what Wonder Woman 3 is going to be from a present day standpoint because the theatrical ended. I don't know what they did. Wonder Woman. She went back to her museum and stopped some crime or whatever. I don't know what she's doing present day. And I don't know if Patty cares. At this point, Patty, isn't she on the X-Wing status? Isn't she going to Star Wars?
Yeah.
I think so.
She's doing Rogue Squadron, I think.
She's doing Rogue Squadron, yeah.
So we ain't going to get a Wonder Woman for a grip. And I think that your girl Gal, cheap. Go ahead.
Basically, though, isn't she still going to be working at the Louvre? Like, isn't she basically either she's going to be there or she's making her way back to Themyscira? Because remember, Wonder Woman 84 is technically like a prequel.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is that if the Justice League is canon, and that's the only present day version of Diana, I don't know where they take her from that point forward. Because Wonder Woman 84 doesn't matter from a continuity standpoint for present day. Even Wonder Woman 84 didn't have her in present day. It was only Wonder Woman 1 that was kind of like present day coming from BVS. But this one is saying that canon is the theatrical version, and it didn't have that moment with the arrow. So I don't know. I mean, that might be another shot in the foot from
even more reason to bring back this, to resurrect the Snyderverse. Bring it on back, because I can't deal with a movie that has all these open plot holes and we can't figure out jack squat. That's my problem. Just let the Snyder Cut be canon and build from that.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know, bro. I don't know, but I feel like we pretty much broken down everything. I mean, the only thing we didn't talk about is the Voco and Mira sequences that made a lot more sense foundationally going into Aquaman. I was like, Voco sitting there talking about Orin, that Orin was like, man, I don't care about that darn mother box. Like, let them burn. Like, and like Voco's like, yo, you're the only one that can really do anything about this. I need you to step up. Like, that was a dope scene that could have just stayed, and it would have segued perfectly into Aquaman and where the status he was at. Because even the movie ends where he was like, I got to go see my dad.
Yeah.
And that would have literally moved right from where James Wan, regardless of what you feel about it. It would have been
flawless. Yeah, flawless.
But they cut that joint. So I don't know.
And that's my point. Like, everything literally can build off the Snyder Cut. Because now we know why he has his mother's trident, and now we know where he got the outfit from to fight in. You know, everything builds off of that. The only thing that can't build off of that was Shazam, and that was it. Yeah. Like, even Martian Manhunter got a good build.
Yeah, because my first question too was when we were seeing all these this nightmare future, I kept wondering and thinking to myself, how is the Flashpoint movie gonna play into this?
Well, I think the Snyder Cut does play into that, because remember, he starts breaking time at the speed of light, which you get to get explained in the Snyder Cut. And I think because of what he did with saving the world, he might just think to go back in time and save his mother, which would cause that. Because remember, even in the nightmare sequence, they're getting to different points where they're trying to help Barry go back in time. Because I think they also mentioned that he goes back in time running on the cosmic treadmill. So I think they're finding different places to get to a cosmic treadmill, in order for him to go back in time, and like where Bruce had that moment in BVS. So I think that little tidbit where he talks about his abilities can lead into Flashpoint.
Yeah. I guess the only thing we haven't talked about is the actual end nightmare sequence. The first time I watched it, I didn't know what to think about it, to be honest with y'all. The second time I watched it, I really appreciated it on a lot of different ways. From like even the look of Cyborg. If any of you guys are like the old Teen Titans fans, there's an old episode of Teen Titans that shows like a future Cyborg. He's kind of got like a cloth on. He's got like these little things and gadgets kind of connected to him. It was really no nod to that. But I was curious y'all's thoughts on the conversation between Ben Affleck's Batman and Jared Leto's Joker. How did y'all decipher that, and how did y'all feel the second time watching? Because the first time watching, I kind of was like, "What the heck is this?" Second time, I was like, "This is freaking dope." But I don't know. I'm curious y'all thoughts on it.
No, the nightmare sequence was dope. But I will admit, like every time I saw it originally, it was with sleep-deprived eyes. So watching it after a proper sleep, or just watching it on its own, I was like, yo, this almost borderline gave me like Blade Runner 2049 vibes, but with Batman and Joker, you know? I loved it.
I give him credit for two people that weren't even in the same room. Like, they weren't even together doing this scene, doing their lines for this scene. This thing was
cool.
it was incredibly epic, and goes to their their acting prowess. On top of which, I am so glad that Jared got an opportunity to redeem his version of the Joker, because he never really got to shine in the Suicide Squad. And this is more of the Joker that I would have liked to see him. This is the Joker that ties into his method acting and mythology, where he's sending people dead rats and all that stuff that he's doing when it was Suicide Squad. This is how I envisioned that Joker to be. So credit to them. It was a great scene. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. What about you, Keaton?
Yeah, I liked it. It was just one of those things where the whole time I was watching, I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. And I just started kind of listing off stuff that I wanted to see that I probably never will see, because they had I think announced that they were nixing it, because we never got the Affleck solo Batman film that I was hoping would probably delve into all that. I was hoping that we would see what happened to Robin, because we still only have Chris O'Donnell as a theatrical Robin now, still. You know, I was honestly kind of thrown with the Harley Quinn death, because it seemed like she was one of the things that WB seemed like they were trying to hold on to. So I'm wondering if her death is only in that nightmare.
I think it's just probably one of the timelines.
That
honestly.
nightmare timeline. Yeah,
and
but
I think that this whole sequence to me was them playing intellectual checkmate with each other. Like, they were trying to throw jabs.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to think of, you know, a really like vicious, like live action conversation like this that they've kind of had. Like on the big screen. Like, this is, I was waiting for them first off to even have a moment together. But for it to be as vicious as it was, I was kind of like, dang. A lot of people kind of was offended because of Batman's verbiage and Joker's verbiage. I think some lines were unnecessary, but I felt the meat and potatoes of what these men were talking about each other. And
what I wondered more than anything was, why do they need Joker? Obviously, he's there for some kind of reason. Like, why do they need him? Like, and exactly. I was excited because I'm like, man, I wonder what role he plays in this. That they're like, oh, we're gonna team up with the Joker. Like, who does that? Like, that's a bad idea for literally anybody. And but for some reason, he's there, and I don't think it's because he's this amazing hand-to-hand combatant, not when they're hiding out from Superman. So I want to know why he's there in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that they even illustrated in like the Suicide Squad is that, I mean, even like Harley Quinn's movie, is that Joker's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of connections with people. And I can only imagine the things that he's been able to procure and resources and people that he's been able to kind of like get on his side. So I think it's probably more so a resource situation. What would be interesting is if like Lex Luthor is still alive during this situation, or other people that we don't know. It's so many different promising things that they could really go in depth with that I don't know if we'll ever see. But it's amazing to me. I really enjoyed the possibilities. I am happy that he had another chance. I'm curious to see what these extra sequences are in the Justice's Gray version, but I don't know, man. I'm still one of those people that I would love to have seen what David Ayer's cut would have been personally. Some people just don't care. I'm really curious because I'll never forget that very first trailer of the Suicide Squad. And I was kind of like, if that was the vision that he really wanted, that was uncompromised, like, I was like, man, this could have been something freaking amazing, especially if it was rated R. So I don't know. We'll never know.
The Justice is Gray. That was one of my last questions. Justice is Gray edition has more scenes.
That's what somebody said.
That's the rumor. The rumor is it's the black and white version is going to have more scenes on it.
Huh.
But I don't. Here's the thing though. I disagree with I disagree with the fact that they said some of the language doesn't wasn't necessary. Like we have to remember this is Frank Miller's Batman. Like Zack Snyder pulled Frank Miller's Batman, and this is 20-year-old Batman, older Batman. He's just not gray in age, kind of like Batman in the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns stuff. But it makes so much more sense. This is a Batman who's been doing it for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's come to the point where, look, that whole me not killing you thing. Oh, we're past that now. We're past that. I will. He was like, I will effing kill you. And I like that because it to me, it's just this dude has let the Joker ride so long. Like it, and I understand it. He was, the Joker always made that point. Like, if you kill me, I still win because I got you to break your one rule, kind of thing. But where he even asked that question, where how many different people do you let die in the multiverse? Because you don't have the cojones to die yourself. The same question, it can be asked like when Jason Todd did in Under the Red Hood, where he had the Joker, in a headlock with a gun, like, yo, how many people have died because you let this dude live?
Yeah.
And the same can be said. So I think it's justified. I think I like the scene. I would have really liked to seen what he would have done with it from there, because that scene gave me chills the killing joke, like that one last scene with Batman and the Joker when Batman finally brings down the Joker at the circus at the end of the Killing Joke, and he tells that joke and him and Batman laugh, and then all you hear is Batman laughing, and you're like, yo, did he kill this dude?
Yeah.
Like, did he actually do it this time? Like, that was the kind of chill I got from that nightmare scene.
Yeah. So two things I guess I would question all you guys on. One is, do y'all think that that's foreshadowing that Bruce is going to sacrifice himself to save Lois to the detriment of everything else, so that this doesn't keep happening? That, because I feel like that was really intentional. Like that open line of dialogue didn't come out of just nowhere. It's like, I feel like it could be potential foreshadowing. And then the second part of my question is, this sequence ended with Superman landing. Now, granted, like the Flash could have ran, but they all were just sitting there. What happens after that point once he lands? It's just speculation. I think it'd just be cool to kind of end this out on.
Yeah, I think that's what was going on. I think it was foreshadowing all of what Snyder's original plan was. I think it was just like in all of his other movies. It's just a lot of he has a little bit of snippets and setup for what he's going to do next, and we're just like, question mark, like, what was that? That's interesting. And then he ends up bringing it back around, and which is what made this movie so much better, because you got a chance to see stuff come back around again. And I think that's what he was doing. I think he was setting it up for, okay, what was the meaning of, like you said, Sam, what was the meaning of that? And I think that's what he was going to show us, the meaning of it all in the sequels.
Yeah. So what do you think happens the moment Superman lands? Are they all going to die?
Probably.
In a real world, they were dead long before. I
think honestly, Flash does time travel at that point, because you see him pretty much. It looks like he's wearing the outfit.
Well,
yeah.
It looks like he's wearing the outfit that he had when he originally went back. So I'm thinking if they opened the movie, they would open it at that point. You would see everybody get wiped, and then you would see Flash like going back, and then they would show what led to that moment.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that could work.
Sam. So Grace Randolph, she just said, apparently just a few seconds ago, HBO Max. I have no idea this is true. I'm just telling you what I see. But Grace Randolph, a few seconds ago, she said that HBO Max is dropping Justice Gray version of Snydercut tonight, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Let's go.
Let's go. Squad.
Squad.
This is
go.
Can we get some more facts on
here
this?
For it.
I realize this is just a few seconds old, so I know it's a lot of information, but
like you can't be just dropping stuff like that, man. You just hurt my whole brain.
What I think with that scene, my alternate Keaton version is, I think that scene with the Joker all happens after their attempt to contact Batman, and he's too early.
Yo, thank you, Jimmy, for the $5 donation. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Jimmy. I think that scene is maybe after the attempt where Flash goes back in time, talks to Bruce, and says, "Is he early?" But he still gives him the message. I think after that, they're trying to make their way to another point where they can try again. Run into the Joker and all that, and then when Superman shows up from that point, like Keaton said, I think he actually tries again and makes his way back into time on his own.
Anybody that's in the chat, if y'all can please go and use your resources, all 50-something, to let me know if there's any kind of like facts behind this.
Man, I've been digging ever since he mentioned it, and I haven't seen anything yet.
I'm going to Vero, see if Zach has stated anything.
Let's hunt this down, niggas.
Right, like I need confirmation. Look, I'm like Jed Mike on that. Nani? Like I need to know what's going on.
Yo, I'm gonna say this: if this is true, like she straight up is the scooper of 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, she's definitely she's beating out all the Apple rumor folks. Like she's definitely on it.
Yeah.
Listen,
everybody's freaking out in the chat.
I need one of y'all niggas. I need one of y'all niggas to confirm this, because I will literally take a nap right now and wake my ass back up.
Right. I will do that. Shoot. If I can confirm that, I'll probably just do it anyway. I'll just wake up early, log into the laptop, get some couple things done, and just let that sucker play. Like, come on. I'm ready to go.
I'm looking. I'm just looking off the hashtag alone.
Same.
Let's create some chatter.
30-second pause, audience.
I don't.
Yeah, look, we're all checking now.
Look, I stopped the stream.
Right. I mean, shoot, it's your stream. Shoot.
Yo, hey, so I do think that the physical copy is going to come with the documentary. I think it's going to come with the Justice is Gray version. What I think will be dope, and somebody had put it in the chat, that Zach actually said that, there's a 5-hour version of this. I think he might add the rest of the deleted scenes if they come out with the physical version. I think that will be something that'll be a good selling point, especially if this is already on HBO Max. Then why would you buy the physical? Zach is not somebody that just kind of like leaves people heavy-handed or low-handed. So I think that would be a really dope thing if he added deleted scenes and like the Justice Gray version and everything else.
I want the physical copy so I can shred my Justice League. That's all.
Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely you gotta get that.
I want to erase that from. I want to straight Thanos snap that joint.
So I don't see nothing. The only person that said this and confirmed this is Grace. So we'll see, ladies and gentlemen.
It must be true. Let me rephrase. The possibility of being true has got to be very, very high. Very high.
It's kind of like a situation where me and Jarrell's kind of like, what do we do now? Do we go to sleep? And
yes,
I can't. Well, first off, I can't
go to sleep.
You got kids. Go to sleep.
I
got a kid.
I'm going
to sleep. Please
believe. Yes,
I'll get up early in the morning to get it going. Even look, I started at 7 a.m. when the Snyder Cut first came out. I can do that again, but I'm going to get some sleep.
Hey, East Blue Drew, if it's true, then Jarrell will live stream it on his Twitch. His Twitch is somewhere in the description bar below. If not, then he's gonna post it up in the chat so y'all can go to his Twitch and watch it late at night.
I'll post it right now. Shit.
But yeah, so I think that's everything.
There is one more thing, but this Justice is Great thing completely threw me off. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't even think we talked about Martian Manhunter and how that should have been the Green Lanterns. That should have been. That should have been.
Let me just say,
that should have been your
really,
John Stewart.
I was laughing really hard when Green Lantern showed up because throughout BVS we had this paranoid sweating bullets Batman over extraterrestrials. My man all throughout that movie. My man woke up to Green Lantern not to Martian Manhunter on his doorstep. He just went with it. He was like, "You want some cereal? I got some grits. Like you trying to eat? Like he would
look. Alfred's probably in the back making me some tea right now. Like what's?
But to be fair, that's a dope transition though. Yeah, because when you remember in BVS, like he had like pills and alcohol and women, like on the other side, and then when you see in this one, like he's so much more put together, and like he just kind of like, oh well, I guess I'll talk to you later, like. Peace, deuces.
Nah, I'm sorry. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. If that was our movie, the first question would have been like, "Yo, fam, where was you at? Where we was fighting this dude? You mean to tell me I'm trying to bring like the thing said unite the seven? You were the seventh. What were you doing? You out here being General Swanwick when you should have been out here fighting with us. Now you talking about." You got an investment in our planet. You should have invested where we were fighting this dude.
Hey,
this dude all over the planet wrecking shop.
There's been multiple earth-shattering situations, whether it's the Suicide Squad movie, whether it's Man of Steel. This man ain't done nothing. So, I kind of just like, oh, you know what? Zach wanted this. He wanted to pay it off. But I do ask the question, like, Ninja, where were you, bro? Like, where you been? Because low key, like, everybody just died, and you died right along with us.
Right. Like,
unless you left the planet. I mean, he could have, I don't know. Ninja could have left the planet a long time ago. I don't know.
I'd be even more mad if I found out Homeboy just straight up deal.
Right. Because you gotta remember something. This having Martian Manhunter means this dude has been eyeballing this cat from Man of Steel.
Yep.
Like he's been there since Man of Steel. Like, fam, where was you when Zod came to the planet?
Uh-oh, you're dubstepping a little bit.
Yeah, I'm losing him some.
You good? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he still there?
Nah, he's still
dang.
Am I back? Am I good?
Yeah, you're back. I think Warner Bros. trying to shut you down.
I might have had a little. I think Verizon didn't like what I had to say. But really, where was you at with the last two movies, fam? Where was you at? We had people coming out here wrecking shop across the planet, and you out here playing a 3-star or 4-star general talking about I like my job, fam. You're from a whole entire planet, fam. You couldn't come in here and help out, lend a hand, do something.
To be fair, it makes sense why he never flinched when like Superman kind of just stood up right in front of him. I mean, every single time that kind of Superman's kind of been right up in his face, he's kind of just like, he's been a little pissed, but he didn't flinch. It's just, I don't know, man. Because he was even in Batman vs Superman. He was like, daggone, man, Doomsday just wrecking.
Right. Fam, really?
Wouldn't let that happen to me, though.
Right, exactly. Like, I can tell you why he didn't show up. They was fighting basically in a circle of fire. He wasn't coming nowhere near that fight with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. You put a match near that dude, it's like an elephant and a mouse with that cat. Come on now. Where was you at, dog? Man. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Hey yo, Jedi Mike, that's hilarious. He had the nerve to handcuff an alien. He was, hey yo, why is that alien on alien crime? Like
that alien crime, Jedi Mike. You ain't lying, man.
Black man too.
Yeah. But so yeah, nah, man, it was a lot of dope payoffs, all over the place, dude. And I think the other thing that I don't think we talked about, and this is the last thing I'll talk about. This is actually one of the more sincere and like naturally progressively funny, and just, I don't know, it was something about this that felt hopeful and sweet, where everybody was kind of just like, oh, well, Zack's gonna be this, it's gonna be really good. But I was like, it seemed really chill to me. Like, this is, to me, one of the more toned down, even though it was a rated R film, yes, from a violence standpoint, but emotionally, there was a lot of levity. There was a lot of moments to just kind of relax and enjoy what was happening. And I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but this is one of the more enjoyable Zack Snyder films that I had ever seen. I think this might be his best. And I never thought I would say that, because Man of Steel is one of my favorites of his. And I also like Dawn of the Dead. But I don't know. Do you think this is one of his best? And do you think this is one of his more sincere? I'm just curious y'all's thoughts on it.
I definitely think it's one of his more sincere movies, especially given everything that has happened with him. I feel like he went through a lot with this. So getting this done was a really, really big deal to him. And honestly, it is one of those things where it was more hopeful than his normal feature, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like when I was watching that, I feel like he was pouring his heart in that movie. Like, I really do. I really feel like all the stuff that he went through and everything, like by the end of it, yeah, it gives you hope, which is not something, you're right, it's something you don't normally get often out of Snyder films. But yeah, it was dark, but it was still this movie definitely had a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
This is well, I've been saying this mantra that I do think there's no beating the Hans Zimmer Man of Steel soundtrack. There's nothing we can do about that. But
not at all.
But other than that one little exception, no, this is his best film by far, like by miles, you know. And damn, there was something else I was going to say that I almost forgot. Oh, that's what I was going to say. And I kind of feel like I have to say this because I've never said this before, but like, I think the biggest thing when we're talking about, because the comparison game, there's just no getting around it. Okay, there's no getting around it. But when we think of like the MCU's biggest moments, and we think about Zack's biggest moments, this being the biggest, like I think with MCU, I feel like I'm watching these glorious, masterful blockbusters. Whereas when I was looking at Man of Steel, or the old, even dare I say BVS Ultimate Edition Snydercut, I felt like a kid again on my bed, ankles curled, looking at like these giant comic splash pages. You know, I feel like that's the difference. You know, and that's why, especially so, this is his best film.
I can give you 2 words why I think this is Zack Snyder's best film. For Autumn. He put his whole heart, him and his wife,
come on, man,
put their whole heart and soul. Hey, listen, you asked for my opinion, I'm giving it to you. He put I think this was a healing process for him and his wife. I mean, the simple fact that he put the big billboard in the scene where Batman is driving off with Flash for suicide prevention, and then dedicating it to his daughter. Like, he put his heart and soul into this movie. And I think this is why I think it's his best film, because this is personal for him. I don't think there's ever going to be another movie, God willing, that will impact him the way this is, because there is nothing more heartbreaking than a parent losing a child. Let's just be real about that. We're not supposed to outlive them. The fact that that happen. And then I mean, who knows who knows what else he was going through in that moment, you know, but he put his whole heart and soul into this. I love it. I think it's his best work. I that's why I'm like, look, restore the Snyderverse. I'm still standing on this hill, planting my flag. Restore the Snyderverse. WB, stop be Warner Brothers. Don't be worthless riches. I'm trying to keep it PG. Be Warner Brothers. Don't be worthless riches, and bring the Snyder cut back. This was therapy for this man. He got to bring this vision to everyone and basically share that love he had for his daughter through this movie with everyone else. I am proud of him. I tip my hat off to him and his wife, and I'm hoping they bring the Justice League back so he can continue this because, like Jarrell said, this feels more like comic book to me versus I love MCU, don't get me wrong, but this feels more comic book, and it goes back to even the Christian Bale trilogy for me. This feels like what happens if we really had superheroes in the real world. Like this felt grounded for me, and I love it. I love it. Kudos to you, Zack Snyder, for real.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the movie, I mean, it does have hashtag for Autumn. And I mean, he even expressed in certain interviews, I think the Vanity Fair interview specifically, is that she was his biggest advocate for these superhero films. Like, yeah, he loved Frank Miller, he loved certain comics, but she loved all these different incarnations of superheroes that he was tackling and making them mythological. And yeah, I do think that I completely agreed that even while he was working on it, the reason why, and a lot of people don't know this, is that after, you know, she passed, he still continued to work on it, him and his wife. And he basically wrote in the interviews that at a certain point, he just couldn't do it. He couldn't continue to fight with the Warner Brothers Studios. He couldn't continue to fight for it. And he just had nothing left to give. And so he let it all go. And he hadn't worked on a film since. And a lot of people don't know that. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all that. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I think he did pour his heart and soul not only into when he initially made it, but making sure that it was completely unfiltered, untapped, and as much as what he really wanted it to be, and what I think he wanted his daughter to kind of look at and look down on and, you know, admire. But yeah, man, I don't know why you had to go there, bro.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying, we might as well, if we're gonna do the whole Snyder cut, we're gonna do the whole Snyder cut. Shout out to Jedi Mike. Like, man, I appreciate you, good sir. You get a whole other Nani, good, you know. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I've considered. I still might do some kind of Autumn Snyder centric video. There's a few reasons to do this, but I think the number one reason is I do feel that is one thing that I find is inconsistent when people are talking about Zack. It seems, as odd as this might sound, seems like a lot of people aren't aware of the Autumn Snyder situation. So I might dig into that on my channel in one video because it's hard for me to talk about. But I might dig into that.
Alvin was here. Thank God you're streaming Akasan. Dude is just nitpicking loud. So to be fair, Alvin was here. I got pulled in to Akasan's spoiler review. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. He kind of was just like, we're talking about the Snyder Cut. And he kind of brought in Trey from Married to the Real. I brought in my man, John DeKnight. And so I brought a lot of my feelings and emotions there. But I do think that it felt more like a debate as opposed to kind of talking about spoilers and stuff like that. And I don't have it in me to do that. That's part of the reason why I was kind of like, if we're going to talk about this movie, let's just talk about it. Like, talk about it as a comic book, what we really thought this was. Because, I mean, I nitpicked for a whole hour and a half with Lucas. I nitpicked with certain aspects of even my non-spoiler review. I was like, I really want to enjoy what I saw, bro. And I just want to talk about the fact that this wasn't even supposed to be here. This wasn't even supposed to exist. People talked about this thing as like it was like a mythical creature that, you know, you just saw out in the wild, like a Sasquatch or something
unicorn.
like that. And so for the fact that we're talking about it right now and we enjoyed it, Like, that's a win-win, bro. Me and Jarrell talked for months about the fact, okay, now it's coming, but is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be great? Right? And the fact that we both collectively, or everybody here unanimously enjoyed it or thought it was good, bro, that's the highest win and vindication that probably Zach could have ever felt, man. Like, this thing is sitting right now, as far as people, I think it's like 96% of people really enjoyed it. And the critics haven't left it at a rotten either. Like, it's at 73, like, which is, I'm still surprised at that. So I think that this is a really big victory. It to me, it would be like burning money if they don't continue this on HBO Max on a serial format or something. Even if they made it animated, like, it makes no sense. It doesn't have to be canon. It doesn't have to continue off of any of the movies you got, even though it's stupid. They really should just continue them and keep it in its own lane, keep it as an Elseworld. He's already defined it as an Elseworld. He said it doesn't have to be canon. Matter of fact, this man was on his interview, like, talking props to Kevin Feige. He's talking props to the DCU. And it's like, I don't know why so many people hate this man, bro. Man, I really don't.
He got love from the Russo brothers for this.
He did.
Right. From
like,
Matt Reeves. Yeah.
Fam, you talking about the cats that gave you Thanos and, like, who have been building since, like, Civil War on this Thanos Infinity War Endgame. They gave him love. That's what I'm talking about. Like, the internet, look, they all say the internet is this crazy bad place, but when the internet points its arrow north and goes in the right direction, you do get some epic shit out of it. And we got a Snyder cut out of the internet. Thank you, internet. Love to the internet, because you finally did something great. Not that you haven't done it before, but when it comes to these comic book movies, this was an epic move. And I'm hoping that restore the Snyderverse, because I'm going full Mel Gibson Patriot, running up the hill with my flag. I'm telling you, restore the Snyderverse, and I will stand on that hill. And if I gotta go on that hill, I will go on that hill. But restore the Snyderverse. I'm still with it.
100%.
Yeah, and thank you again for Sonic and changing him as well. Internet, appreciate you guys.
Well, yo, Sam, if you had to assume, because I'm going to be very careful with my wording, but I haven't followed Grace in a long time. So since you have, and you had to make an assumption on whether she is correct tonight about Justice is Gray, you would say?
She's real careful about certain things that she says. And if it wasn't something that was going to stick, I don't think she would have blasted it out there. She would have said, I've heard rumblings that it might. Or I've heard rumblings that we might get the Justice Gray soon. Stand by. That's not what she said. Like, she was like, the joint's coming out tonight. So I don't know where she got the information from. I don't know how she got the information, but I mean, I'm gonna say it's possible. And I think we're gonna just wrap it up after that. I think this is good. Is there anything else you guys want to leave on the table so we can wrap it up?
There is one tiny little thing. Can someone please show me Flash running the correct way? Please show me. Enlighten me, please.
Oh, no, we're not going there, Jarrell.
No, it's a simple question. It's a simple question.
No,
it's a simple question.
No, we're not going there. We're not going there. That would take way too much time.
How?
Anyway, finish on something else.
We be going from the 2 to 3 hour mark, fam.
I'll talk to you all offline. We'll talk to that. Me, you, Ty. We'll talk about it, because I know Keaton got to go get to his baby.
I got you.
So yeah. Closing thoughts. We'll talk about it later, though. Ty, closing thoughts, and where can people find you?
So closing thought. Restore the Snyderverse. That's all. That's really all that needs to be said. Great movie. Warner Brothers, stop being Warner bitches and make it canon. Let's go. Restore the Snyderverse. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tyniddy, TYNIDDY. Establishing my YouTube channel. I'm not there yet, but when I do, I will have it available for you incredible people. And Jedi Mike, I'm looking for you to be a subscriber, because you're a good dude. We on the same wavelength. Shout out to everybody in the comments. For real though.
Yeah. Keaton.
This was, like I said before, I've been reading DC since I could read, and this was the Justice League movie that I wanted. This was the Justice League movie that a lot of DC fans wanted. The ones that didn't want it, they hated it before it even came out. So whatever.
Facts.
It is what it is.
Facts.
But yeah, I really liked it. And yeah, if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter at Keaton7. Nobody ever hit me up on Twitter though. But I am with JVS. I'm with Sam. I'm with JVS. That's me. Team JVS, that's me. So get at me. It is what it is.
Jarrell?
Final thoughts. Listen, niggas, please send me videos. I am still looking for the corrected version of the Flash run. I'm looking for it desperately. Outside of that, love the film. If the Justice is Great edition drops tonight, my head's gonna explode.
That's hilarious. My final thoughts. Flip, we didn't talk about it, and I know Keen's got to go. I will say this just really quick.
What did we talk about?
I'm gonna say this really quick. Zach wanted the final sequence to not be John Jones. He wanted it to be John Stewart and Hal Jordan together collectively at the end. He actually was trying to petition to get Ryan Reynolds to come back as Hal Jordan, but he wanted John Stewart to be the focal point, that both of them were going to play a role into where he was going with his next Justice League films and move forward. He wanted to introduce them in. And you know what Warner Brothers said? No. So I just wanted to leave that. I'm just going to mic drop it. I love the film.
I don't think Ryan Reynolds was going to step back in green anyway.
No, he was ready to do it.
Yeah, he would have done
it. He's already made statements.
Zach, he would have done it. He would have done
it. Like he made a statement after the fact. He was like, "Yo, I really was trying to do it. I would have done it. Scheduling conflictions." And then Warner Brothers was like, "Yeah, no, that's way too much to try to get this to work." And so it didn't pan out. But Zach, that's what he wanted, and I think it would have happened
too. But give Zach his credit, because when they told him no, he was like, "So you're gonna let me do Martian Manhunter then, right?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like that was the compromise. Like if you're not giving me Hal and John, you're giving me John Jones, and he got John Jones. So credit to him for that. But he's been fighting. I mean, that's my problem too with Warner Brothers. He's been fighting for everything. He had to fight. Who has to fight for the black and silver Superman suit? You know, when you're talking about the death and return of Superman, like.
Oh yeah, did you hear about
who
the
has
mullet?
to do that? Like that's just stupid to me. But
so
shout out to Zach.
He wanted the mullet. He wanted the suit to be like solar paneled. They told him no for the black suit altogether. The only reason why he was able to even get that to work is he had to change like the actual coloring for it. That's the reason why we didn't get the backstory of the suit or anything like that. Like he had to add that in after the fact, and they said no to the mullet and the beard as well. So yeah, man, he's been fighting for a while, man. If I ever interview Zach, I was telling bro, look, thank you, bro. Like, thank you. For a lot of people giving you flack, bro. Like you a ride or die, bro. And I really appreciate you and what you've done, what you've had to go through and endure to get us, you know, your vision. And I think it was a monumental like success ultimately at the end of the day. But yeah, man, I ain't got nothing else. We're gone. I guess it's the last time we're going to talk about this. Probably not. Yeah, you can check us out. And if you're watching this on Twitter, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell button. We're coming back because the next thing we're going to be talking about is probably, dare I say, one of the greatest animated superhero shows I've ever seen. And I'm talking about Invincible. So be prepared for that. Go to Jarrell's. Well, never mind. Anyway, we'll talk about this later. We'll talk about it later. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. We're going, y'all. Peace.